Good evening, everyone, and welcome to On the Rise. I'm your host, Mike Feinberg. With me, as always, my partner, David Shore. Coming to you on Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day, everybody. Groundhog did see a shadow. 6 more weeks of winter. David, how do you feel about that?
I don't know if I can handle it, honestly. I'm already over it. I wore 4 layers of clothes to work today, so I'm really not excited about it, truthfully.
I saw you peeling it all off as we were sitting here, just getting ready for the show to start.
I'm telling you, I need coffee in my hands at all times. It's a rough situation right now, for sure.
It really is. It's going to be about, 46 degrees by the time we walk out of here tonight, from what I understand. And, for us, that's like sub-zero temperatures. The rest of the world watching this is probably laughing at us right now. But, hey, yeah, it's not snowing, but for us, it's cold. Wait, when you go from 85 degrees one day to 46 degrees 2 days later, it's a big variance.
Right.
It chills your bones just a little,
Exactly.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about the weather. We're here to talk about MMA. So, of course, Team MMA, that's what we do. That's the new concept. I'm sure you've all heard of this. Hopefully you've seen the last couple events as well, the regional Team MMA. We're now going to begin doing the international Team MMA. That's going to happen in just a couple of months. We'll get you a start date for that one. Will not be the next card, but should be the following card. That's shaping up pretty well, David, right? We've got quite a few team captains already set up for multi-countries at this point.
Costa Rica, Colombia, apparently we're going to have Team Canada coming on board. All kinds of teams, so I'm excited to see what happens. Still, I'm not sure exactly who's USA, but it's hard not to root for USA because obviously that's where I'm going to shoot for. So we'll see. There's going to be all kinds of people, all kinds of different cultures in the mix, and yeah, it should be exciting for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We're trying to have as many fight cards as we possibly can this year. With pandemic here, it's kind of difficult, but we wanted to have originally 8 fight cards. Maybe we'll get 6 in this year. The first one was pushed back, as you may have heard, was supposed to be February 20th. We've now pushed it back to March 20th. We announced that a couple of weeks ago. Don't quite have a venue yet. We're working on it.
You keep saying 6. I'm ready to push it every month to have a fight,
Well, that's the thing.
That's the goal.
I'm ready to as well. As long as we can do it, we will do it.
Right.
With those restrictions and the permitting rules and so forth, that's why we had to make that delay for the first one, unfortunately. So our year isn't starting until March. But should be a great fight card. Actually, I have some information on that fight card right here already. I've got a few names for the people who will be fighting on that card. And again, it's going to be Felipe Valentin fighting Alexis Fernandez. That's going to be for the bantamweight title at 135. So the inaugural, very first 135 title here at RIZE. Yeah. We've also got Big John Lopez. He's going to be fighting his opponents to be determined. There is somebody there, but we don't want to just mention the name quite yet. And that's going to be vying for the heavyweight title, the very first RIZE title at 265. Trap Gambino is going to be coming out. We've been talking about him for quite a while now. He's a super heavyweight. He's going to be coming out, putting on a show for us. No title on the line, but he will be headlining the undercard bout before the titles. It should be a really good attraction for everybody to come out and watch. We've got Al Dergalo fighting Cameron Lueck. Those guys are lightweights. Going to be fighting at 155. Al's weight has gone between 155 and 170, but he's dropped the weight, got to 155, and as we mentioned, it'll be a fair fight at 155 this time around. Matthew Cunningham is going to be fighting at bantamweight, making his debut here with RIZE at 135, as well as Ladrian Fletcher as a featherweight at 145. LJ Wilson will be returning. He was on the last fight card. I know you really liked that fight
sure.
that he had against Greg's son. That was quite a fight.
Yeah.
So he'll be coming back again, a fight at lightweight for us again at 155. The debut of Lucas Rosa, Charles Rosa's little brother. He's at featherweight 145. This guy's got a lot of skills, so we're curious to see what he can bring to the table. Jeremy Arnold is going to be fighting, making his debut with us at heavyweight. And then we've got Justin Starks. He's going to be defending the first lightweight belt from RIZE, the very first fighter to defend any belt here from RIZE. And Justin Starks was supposed to be with us in studio tonight. He was supposed to be with us in studio last week as well. We had a scheduling conflict last week. This week it was more of a miscommunication.
Apparently.
That's apparently the best way to explain it.
He's too fast for us, apparently.
He's quick. I mean, the man was actually here, and he's gone. Unfortunately, before the camera started rolling. So, sorry, Justin. I know you made the trip all the way up here from Miami. It was quite a journey, and we do appreciate you doing that for us. And I'm sure soon enough we'll get you out here. We'll get that photo session we need to get done as well. We haven't done a photo session with him and his belts.
Exactly.
That was one of the main purposes for his arrival. But we'll get to that. So, I want to get to talk a little bit about these fighters and the fights themselves and maybe the preparation that you know of, David. Just before we do that, we are going to take our first commercial break. It's going to be just to talk a little bit about our app. If you haven't downloaded the RIZE app yet, this will give you a little insight as to exactly how you should do that and what you'll see when you do. So on the other side of that, we'll go back and discuss this March 20th bout. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Jason, the audio. Oh! Are excited and ready for the second bout of RIZE.
All right, and we are back. Everyone, hopefully you enjoyed that quick promo of the app. Again, if you have not downloaded that, I'm not sure what you're waiting on. There's several ways to do so. Just jump right there to your Apple Store or your Google Play Store and download that thing. It's free to download. There's a lot of free, interesting material that's on there. And all of our fights will eventually be streamed directly to that app.
Right.
So there's going to be quite a few
you
this
can
year.
catch up on previous fights, like Justin Starks. You can see his past 2 fights and watch the whole cards if you want to. So it's pretty neat that you have access to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and as well as if you are a fighter yourself and you are interested in actually fighting for us at RIZE, there's an application right on there. Just tell us who you are, tell us your credentials, and we'll be in contact with you and discuss what you can bring to the table and if we can get you on one of the cards.
There's been quite a few people reaching out trying to get fights. I know that for a fact. So we're working on matching everybody up. And like I said, I believe we have enough fights to fight every month for the rest of the year once we start rolling. So I'm excited, and all the turnout's been really great.
Yeah, and in addition to that, there's also another application. I know David's more interested in this one. We have the beautiful Brittany and Lorraine already as our cage girls, and we have a couple of alternates too that were in the cage girl competition just last year. There's an application. If you are interested in being one of the cage girls, you can go ahead and put your credentials on there as well, talk about your modeling experience, a couple of pictures of yourself, and we can be in contact with you for that as well. I think David's doing the interviews on the cage girls, though.
I think Mike tried to sign up for a cage guy to be acceptable, but we turned him down, unfortunately. We're only doing women right now.
Yeah, I know. I tried, guys. I tried. It just didn't work out for me. I guess maybe it was the mask. I don't know.
Might be.
You don't want to see what's underneath.
You got to see the moneymaker.
Beyond that, we did want to discuss the fights you just mentioned before the commercial break a little bit. So David, what do you know about the preparation some of these guys are doing? Have you been to their gyms, or have you been following them on social media?
Mostly social media. Like I saw Al Drogo's Instagram story today of him training, saying he's not going to quit, and just all full of inspiration. And same thing with John Lopez, consistently training at Combat Club, and talked to a lot of fighters that train with other fighters as well, and everyone's getting prepared. We spoke to George Molina a couple weeks ago now, who was talking about Felipe Valentin, just saying how dedicated he is with training and how serious he takes it. And we spoke to him himself, saying it's a full-time thing. This is not a game. It's not just a hobby. It's what he wants to do as a career. Right. And when you take that to the next level and you live and you breathe and you just you live that lifestyle, you become an animal. So I can't wait to see these guys fight. And also the gentleman he's fighting, he already has, I believe, over 10 or 12 fights or something like that. Relentless Fernandez, I believe, is his last name. Yeah, so he has a bunch of fights, and he looks really experienced in games. So that's going to be an exciting card. I even like the matchup poster of them. It looks pretty official and it looks pretty serious. So I can't wait. Yeah,
it does. It does. There's quite a few matchups that we've got on the card, and these guys are just evenly matched, very evenly matched. Right. Whether it be the experience, the size, the height, the reach, just the type of style that they fight with. It's going to be interesting to see, who can come out on top.
Right. And like I said, John Lopez is messaging me during the show, like, hey, are we set? Are we good? I'm ready. Just super hyped up. So you can tell these guys, they wake up thinking about fighting. They go to sleep thinking about fighting. So, yeah, just the preparation. And it always amazes me about MMA is just all this preparation into such a small span of fighting, especially with amateurs with 3-minute rounds. 9 minutes of 6 months to years of training. It's amazing. The build-up is one of the most exciting parts.
Yeah, there's no question about that. I know these guys are really getting prepared. And, I know with the first couple of fights, of course, they were trying to do that. And with all the conditions that go around it with COVID, made it a little bit difficult for them to get that training in. Now it seems like people have found a way They found a way around it. Things are a little better off. There's more safety protocols in place. And I think these guys are going to take it even more seriously. Not that they weren't before. And we're going to see even the best of these guys on these next couple of fight cards. So
I was just saying, I want to go train at a combat club, but I know once I go in there, I'm going to get hit with reality, how tough it is to train and be discouraged for another year or something like that. But, like I said, I love talking to fighters, and everyone's all excited about it. So I would like to just go there, and sooner or later, I'm definitely going to go check in on everybody and, check how their camps are going and
Sure.
their status for sure.
So, out of all the fights, that are coming up here on this next card, we've probably talked about this before, but, what jumps out at you? I know, you're talking a lot about John Lopez and able to see what he can do and how his career can exceed. Beyond that and beyond the Valentin Fernandez fight, the other guys, who are you curious to see again back in action, and what do you think they'll bring to the table?
I want to see Trap fight because it's a super heavyweight, and I just spoke to a pro super heavyweight recently. It's trying to get on one of our cards coming up. And, it's always mass versus mass. These guys are, I'm like 170. These guys could be up to, double my size, and it's just awesome to see two dudes just collide and to see what happens. It's kind of explosive. Something's going to fall, so I can't wait for that. It's nothing like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like the size of their leg, you know what I mean? Like, I can't wait. That's what I enjoy because, it's just cool to see gladiators go at it. And then, you got the smaller guys like, Felipe, 135 with, tons of energy. I can't imagine being in that shape. I mean, honestly, if I slimmed down and I was in my fighting shape, if I ever was in a fighting shape, it'd probably be about that size. And it takes so much cardio to maintain that kind of weight. He probably walks around at 170, 180, but fights at 135. So these guys are doing nothing but just pure fitness, So.
It always amazes me, being able to make weigh-ins. And some of these guys, like you said, they're walking around weight. We heard from some of these guys, they were easily losing 30-plus pounds, just trying to make weight. And you never say it's the healthiest thing in the world, but some of these guys have managed to do it. They're experienced in it. But a lot of these guys are also very new, and it's new to them. So it is curious to see, how that weight change affects them as they step into the cage each and every time. It does take some time to figure out. That's the beauty of the amateurs, just kind of getting themselves going. They're just learning about themselves as well as us learning about them. So what else? What other? Obviously Justin
Starks, exactly. Yeah, 155. His what was the gentleman he fought last time? His last name, the brothers. I forgot.
Idris Perry.
The Perry brothers. I mean, those guys came out and showed up. It was a really close fight between Justin and the Perry brothers. Honestly, I think that Justin probably is even more inspired to put on a crazier performance and a highlight reel after such a close contest.
Right.
And I'm excited to see that and see what kind of preparations he's put towards it and where he goes. So.
Yeah, for sure. I know he likes a challenge. He mentioned that quite a bit. He was sticking on the amateurs because he said sometimes some of the fights were just easy and he was having fun. Mm-hmm. But realistically, when he gets faced with a fighter like Idris Perry and he's got a challenge on his hands, it's going to make you a little hungrier.
Right.
You want to just do a little better.
Exactly.
The first fight, of course, with us, he had that great knockout over Justin Jimenez. Mm-hmm. And it was a great night for him, but it didn't show all his skills. It showed his power, but not all his skills. And the last fight obviously brought it a lot more in him. So it is interesting to see what he can bring next time around.
And then you got Al, like I said, even after a moment after he lost, he came into the commentary screaming that he's going to be back better than ever. And
that's right.
I mean, he represents Scores. He works at Scores, and he's all about Scores. So I'm looking forward to an after party over there, possibly.
Yeah, we just got to get the win, right?
Exactly. For the best of show, you know what I mean? And I'm hoping for the best regardless, but I'll be there afterwards.
Right.
Yeah, but it's going to be good. I can't wait. It's adding up, and there's a lot of people that's super excited, and everyone's training and hyped up. So, a lot of hype is coming into this.
Yeah, and again, I mentioned we have that debut of Lucas Rosa. Lucas having a lot of wrestling experience under his belt as well, and training with a lot of UFC fighters, as well as his brother Charles. So, how much do you know about Lucas's experience coming in?
I watched a couple videos on him. Honestly, I don't know Charles too well. Obviously, I know him from the UFC, but I was scoping on his brother's Instagram and all of his training, how he went overseas to train, and just really intense. And you can even see like a body transformation of how much he's been training to come into a hardcore athletic build kind of deal. So I'm excited, really excited to see him train, especially his training with the top athletes, a UFC type style training, And he has big shoes to fill with Charles Rosa, who's a monster in UFC, and I think he's fighting maybe the next card or the card after that for UFC. So if you guys don't watch Charles Rosa, I highly recommend it. Boston owned, always a big about charity and charity work with Chucky fights and stuff like that. Making big moves, you know. So I always support a good cause, and they're pretty local, so definitely really interested to see what they do.
I think he is on that next card. You know, I think I remember seeing something. I think it's coming up, February 20th.
Yeah, I believe so.
So originally that was the date that we had set. I think that's the night of the next UFC card, main UFC card. I think he may be on that one. So it would be interesting to see what he can do next time.
We also had Armando. What was her name? Kate.
I don't want to say names yet.
Oh.
Female fighter.
Okay, I'm sorry. So we had a female fighter that was in the studio today, just getting prepped up for the I guess some kind of broadcast or whatever. I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. But she was super cool, and I had fun talking to her. And she might be on an upcoming card real soon. And I'm really excited about that because she's a pretty hardcore competitor from what she told me about, and you know how serious she comes off. So can't wait for that. You know, it'd be nice to have some females up in a majority male-dominated sport, you know, so we need to have some different aspects coming in. We got super heavyweights, it'd be nice to have some lighter weights and then, you know, females and everything else.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely true. So, I mean, this fight card coming up, obviously we're excited about this. You know, we've given you enough information, I think, on it. And we don't have the venue quite set yet, as I mentioned, but we will get that information. We'll provide that to you just as soon as we get it. And as the opponents start to come in and we're sure of those opponents, we'll let you know about those as well. We'd hate to just tell you one thing and then it changed too many times. So, but March 20th is our locked-in date. You know, there's already some promos out there. You know, we know for sure John Lopez is fighting for a title. We know Justin Starks is defending his title. We know Alexis Fernandez and Felipe Valentin are fighting for a title. We know that Trap Gambino should be on the card. So, you know, there's a lot that we already know that's already pretty much filled out that card.
Yep.
Some of the opponents, I said, is just what we don't know yet. You know, with the conditions of the permitting and so forth, as I mentioned, that's why we pushed it back to March 20th. Hopefully that doesn't continue to happen throughout the year. And like you said, if we can have a fight card each and every month, we will. We know the next fight card we'd like to have after that fight card is going to be the beginning of our international team MMA. We're hoping that comes through and we can have that in, you know, the latest by May.
Right.
And beyond that, we got a pro card coming, hopefully a kickboxing card coming for you as well, and then back to the regional team MMA concept towards the end of the year. So a lot of things that we're looking forward to seeing sometime this year. So now we're supposed to have, as I mentioned, Justin Starks here in studio with us. We're going to allow a lot of time to interview him and let him speak. Hopefully we can have him here maybe next week or the following. So the show is going to be a little shorter tonight. We didn't have enough information. We thought we were going to talk to him right up to the time we walked in here, and then everything kind of happened. So we apologize for that, but you know, we'll be able to let you get back to what you want to do tonight just a little sooner. That's why we also start a little later. So, but before we start talking about some other things, and we're going to go into the world of sports, as it were, and what's going on there, we are going to take another quick commercial break. This is from one of our sponsors. On the other side of that, we'll discuss UFC, we'll discuss boxing, even NFL. So we'll be back in just a couple of minutes, right after this quick commercial break.
This is Kerry from Deviate Motorsports. I want to welcome you to our world and give you a little insight into what we do. From the lift kits, lowering kits, custom wheels and tires, gas, diesel, performance, and accessories. We do it all here in-house. All of our services we offer, we install everything. Come follow us on social media, Facebook or Instagram, deviate_motorsports. Take a look at what we do, what we have to offer. We're located at 1018 North Federal Highway in Lake Park, US 1, just south of North Lake Boulevard, or you can give us a call, 561-840-2023, or shoot us an email, deviatemotorsports@yahoo.com. Thanks.
All right, and we are back. Hopefully you enjoyed that quick promo from one of our sponsors, and hopefully you paid attention to it. That's what the sponsors want you to do. With that being said, I told you on the other side that we would be discussing some other sports events and, you know, kind of running through everything pretty quickly tonight. So I'm going to default back over to David here. And as far as the world of UFC, what's gone on in the last week or two?
I'm still, you know, still soaking in the loss in the McGregor fight when I kind of bet the house on it, so that might have been a bad idea. You know, my friends like to say whoever I bet on is going to lose, so I'm not betting on any any fighters on RIZE. I don't want to jinx anybody, but whatever. Poirier is really good. I've been watching a lot of things of who he's going to fight next, potentially Oliveira, and they're saying Chandler should fight someone. Probably, I think Chandler's going to fight Gaethje, and that's probably wraps up the lightweight division. I know this next card, it's going to be Overeem versus Volkanov. Overeem, he's getting up there in age. I think he's in his 40s, 41 or 40 actually. And he said it's his last run at a UFC title. So if he loses, he's going to quit on the spot apparently. So he's a legend. He's been fighting since he was like 20 or something like that. Kickboxing, hundreds of fights. But he has tough competition versus Volkanov. He's Russian, super good fighter. That should be really good. I know Curtis Blades is going to be fighting Derek Lewis. Curtis Blades he has the most takedowns in the UFC. First Volkanov, the 5 rounds, just takedown after takedown. It's going to be hard for Derek Lewis to fight him off, but that guy finds a way a lot of times. So hopefully that's a good fight. And there's some, like we said before, Charles Rosa is going to be fighting on the next coming card, I believe, or he's card or 2. I'm excited to see that. I know also Philip Rowe, he's going to be making he won the contender contract, and now he's going to be fighting his first fight in the UFC. I like Philip Rowe a lot. I met him actually when the guy I was cornering, he beat when Mike Perry was in his corner. So I'm excited to see Phil Rowe. He's a real humble kind of guy. I want to see him succeed, and he's hilarious too. He has all the jokes. I guarantee he's going to be like a star, just kind of like Mike Perry. These guys kind of have funny personalities, always doing, they call him the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or whatever. He looks just like Will Smith back in the day, kind of. Yeah. So, I can't wait to see that guy take off, and he's really skilled and really dedicated. I think he fights out of Fusion, I'm pretty sure, in Orlando. So, should be really good, honestly. A lot of good fights coming up, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on over there for sure, and that Dustin Poirier, I mean, that was quite a win.
Yeah.
It still resonates down here in South Florida where he trains.
Exactly.
And,
a lot of people train with him. Right.
Yeah, it was a big deal, a big win. And, once again, congratulations to him. And, it kind of worked out for the best because, obviously Dustin can now move on to bigger and better. Mm-hmm. And then Conor McGregor is not going away.
Right.
I mean, he's still big enough that he's obviously going to get a lot more fights, before he's all done. So it worked out for both of them, I think, in the end.
For sure.
Best thing that could have happened. And they may have that trilogy fight, too.
Yep.
And I'm talking about that. And then, moving to the world of boxing, I just learned this earlier today that the International Boxing Hall of Fame is once again going to be pushing off their induction ceremony. So they did this last year because of COVID. So last year's inductees have not been inducted. Now this year's inductees will not be inducted until next year. So next year their plan is to have, in the weekend of June 12th, they're going to have 2020, 2021, and 2022 inductees all in the same weekend.
Wow.
So there's no question I'm going to be there. I'm going to be going up to upstate New York for that one. I mean, why would you miss that?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's going to be there. And just to give you an idea, I got some of the names of the people going to be inducted. So as far as 2020, if you hadn't already known about them, Bernard Hopkins, Juan Manuel Marquez, Sugar Shane Mosley, Frank Earn, Patty Ryan, Barbara Butrick, Christy Martin, and Lucio Riker. These are all the fighters that are going to be inducted. This year gets even better. You got Vladimir Klitschko, Floyd Mayweather Jr., Andre Ward, Layla Ali, Ann Wolfe, Marianne Tremier, Jackie Tonawanda, and Davey Moore. So, you got guys like Mayweather and Klitschko and Andre Ward and Layla Ali, So next year, I'm sure it's going to be even just as nice. So looking forward to finally seeing that. But wow, a 2-year delay for the International Boxing Hall of Fame is really a big deal. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. So it became official earlier today, or at least all the sources that are now talking about on top of each other are saying now what I was saying last week, which is this Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather Jr. fight is delayed. It is officially delayed. It will not happen on February 20th as originally planned. No date has been set just yet in the future for when it will happen. No real reason for why it was delayed. It just was delayed. So don't look forward to watching that fight. Hopefully that was going to be up against our fight on February 20th. Hopefully don't move to March 20th and go up against the next one. Because that would suck, and nobody wants that. So, but interesting to see how that's going to go. And I think I mentioned last week that Jake Paul, Logan's brother, is going to be fighting Ben Askren. We discussed that. That's supposed to happen in April. So the Paul brothers, rather, they're still in there. They're still trying to do what they're trying to do. As far as around here, locally, there were a couple of fighting events, boxing events here this past weekend. One was Thursday night down at the Hard Rock in Hollywood, I mentioned was coming up. And the winner, the big winner that night was Trevor Bryan, the interim WBA champ. And he beat and stopped Berman Stavern, the former WBC champion of the world. So it was a good win for him. You know, it was a big named opponent that he's now been able to step over. And now he's moving on and trying to look for that big title shot, or at least that fight that he was trying to get with Char. So we're looking forward to seeing what Trevor can do. Kind of shook off the cobwebs because it's been a while since he was in the ring. Nice to see him finally back there. And then Friday night, M&R Promotions put on a great boxing event down in Miami. Honestly, I didn't like the drive. It didn't make me happy to drive an hour and a half to get down there to watch it, but I enjoyed the fights. So, you know, for those kinds of fights, I would make that trip. There were, you know, quite a few great prospects that show what they can do there in the ring. You know, a lot of NABA and NABF titles that were handed out, so kind of secondary belts, not as, you know, big in the scheme of things. But some of these guys with their amateur experience, it was really something to watch what they could do at the professional level. And Warriors Boxing, you know, shout out to Warriors Boxing because they went 4-0 that night. All four of their fighters came and won. I believe two of them won in fantastic knockout, where the other two went to decision. So good for them. Great to see what they were able to do. And we look forward to seeing them some more. That's pretty much the wrap-up of boxing locally, of what's been going on. Not too much else in the news.
Right.
And now we talk about the NFL.
Oh man, that's what I was waiting
What we
for.
got coming up on Sunday?
Oh, Super Bowl! I can't wait. I win a little money if the Chiefs win, so I'm all chiefed out right now. So I'm sorry, Tampa Bay fans. I'm counting Tom Brady out. You know, like I said, I saw the statistic. I think I might have mentioned this last week, but you know, I think Steph Curry shooting percentage is less than Tom Brady going to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He's won enough, guys. Let's let Mahomes shine, and you know, let's go Chiefs.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I just saw something that Tom Brady's jersey, just in the last 2 weeks, sold more than any other jersey in the history of jerseys.
I hate him. I hate him still. You know.
I said in just a 2-week span, I mean, I was able to do that with the Tampa Bay Brady jersey.
Wow.
TB12. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's going to be two great teams. It's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out. But you know, I've got my little boxes, so I'm curious to see if I win any money myself.
Let me know about boxes, man. I'm trying to get into that, honestly. So yeah, definitely. But yeah, I saw my buddy was telling me today that at Scotty Miller challenged Tyreek Hill into a race, and then they're going to race at halftime or something. And I'm like, you know, I don't need this guy running at halftime, possibly pulling a muscle or something. You know,
it seems like they wouldn't want him to do that.
But how funny would that be? You know. So yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be a good event for sure. And then you got Mike Evans, Godwin. Tampa has a lot of weapons, you know.
Sure.
Ronald Jones, Fournette, you know, a lot of people. But so the Chiefs, you know, the Chiefs got Kelsey the tank at tight end. You know, they got a pretty solid running back situation with Bell still kind of not being a full player, but he could turn into a full player if they need him. And Mahomes is amazing. So hopefully he stays safe, and I'm hoping we get the win.
You got two great coaches there too. They're going to bring some tricks.
Yeah, Andy Reid and Bruce Arians. Yeah, it's going to be wild. Honestly, I'm really excited. So
I think it's going to be whatever you expect it to be. It's not going to be. That's pretty much what it's.
I don't want to hear that, Mike. I'm expecting.
No, I'm not saying as far as wins and losses. I'm talking about if you think they're going to be running.
Don't rain on my parade, Mike. I need to win this.
You know, I think you're going to see a lot of a running game.
Yeah.
You know? Because you got two great passing quarterbacks,
right?
You're going to see a running game
for sure.
Just for that exact reason, you know, it's going to be mixed up a little bit more different than you think it's going to be.
Thing is that, you know, obviously Mahomes is a little more mobile than Tom Brady, so we'll see what happens.
But as you said, Tampa Bay's running game is no joke. You know, when they got those guys healthy, you got Jones and Fournette healthy together. I mean,
I like those sad Tom Brady memes from the Patriots days, so I like to see that again. Just him sitting on the grass, just sad, slumped over. You know, hopefully that's the case, but we'll see. You know, it's gonna be a good game, like you said. I'm kind of nervous, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and the best part is, I mean, I think as far as I know, most of these guys are all planning on coming back again next year. You know, there's not anybody that looks like they're on the verge of retirement. Brady's not going anywhere. He just got there. Right. I think Gronk's going to stick around just because Brady's around. If they got this close to a Super Bowl and didn't get it, they're going to come back again so they can get it next year. So, you know, there's a good dynamic, I think, where.
Who's the halftime show? I don't know.
I heard it, but honestly, I can't remember who it is. It wasn't as big as it's been.
Okay.
You know, I know that much. You know, I'm trying to wonder who it is now because I did hear it. It'll come to me.
We'll discuss next show how good the halftime show was.
That's right. That's what we'll talk about. Yeah, I'm not expecting too much from that halftime show, but I'm interested in the commercials. You know?
Right. It's big money.
Yeah, definitely is big money. And Tampa's going to be a crazy city this weekend. You know, we
bare
got
knuckle boxing.
bare knuckle,
We'll
right?
see Paige fight.
Yep. Yeah, you get a couple title fights on the line down there as well, and then you're going to have the Super Bowl on Sunday, so it's just going to be packed, you know, around the whole town. And I'm not even talking about just with, you know, people coming in, but, you know, Tampa-based team playing in Tampa right there. I think the locals just going to go crazy. So hopefully they're not flipping over cars and setting off bonfires in the streets and things like that. But
I don't think they'll be too excited when they lose, honestly.
well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do those things.
So it'll be a riot just
Who
because
knows?
of that. Who
It
knows?
just might be either way.
Yeah, that's true.
But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. You know, we'll see how it goes. I don't tend to run out there for that. I was actually going to go out for the weekend because I wanted to watch the BKFC event, but I don't think I'm going to go because I know how crazy it's going to be because of the Super Bowl being there. So I think I'm going to stay away and just watch from a distance.
Yeah.
What else can you do? But that's it. That's the world of sports as we know it. As we said, March 20th, our next event. So keep that date in mind. Please make sure that you do have that app downloaded and understand that when we do have the fight shown, it'll be through the app. It'll be through Roku. It'll be through Apple TV, through the Fire Stick. We're going to have a lot of updates and things going on YouTube and Facebook as well leading up to the actual event. But check out, you know, the previous events. Check out some of these guys who are going to be coming back and fighting for us again. You'll see some of what they've been able to do previously with RIZE, and get to know a little bit who they are. And again, if you're a fighter, go ahead and, you know, fill out an application. Let us know who you are. Maybe we can consider you for one of future events. And if you're you know, a model, you're looking to be a cage girl, and you're interested in possibly working with us as well, have a lot of events this year. It's not always going to be the same girls, so you might have an opportunity to be able to, you know, be out there and show what you can do as well. So everyone, you know, we hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Sorry it was so short. Again, we didn't have our guest as we expected, but we do appreciate you tuning in, and we hope to see you again next week. On behalf of David Shore, Armando Gonzalez, Heather Von Zetta, Gerardo Ramos, who's at home but helping from a distance. We are the RIZE team. This is On the RIZE. I'm Mike Feinberg. Have a great night.